please introduce themselves. And thank you for joining us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Paula Salas. I am one of the assistant school leaders here on campus, and thank you so much for coming. We can't wait to welcome your babies to kinder.
Hi, I'm Mel Chavez. I'm another one of the assistant school leaders. We're very excited to have your kindergartner join us at Un Mundo. Hola, me llamo Mel Chavez. Soy una de las subdirectoras de Un Mundo. Estamos muy estamos llenos de alegría, perdón. Estamos llenos de alegría de tener a su nuevo estudiante con nosotros en kinder y para que pueda aprender un poco más de nuestra escuela.
Hi, my name is Monique Lara, and I am another one of the assistant school leaders, and I primarily work with kinders, so I will be working with the kinder team as well as your children. So we'll probably get to know each other really well, and I'm so excited to be welcoming in a new group of kinders and super excited to get to know you as well as your children.
Hi, I'm Daylin Lopez. I am the instructional coach at KIPP Un Mundo. And we are very excited to see you here today, and we are super excited to have your child join us for kinder this year. Buenas tardes, yo soy Daylin López y soy la entrenadora instruccional en KIPP Un Mundo. Estamos muy emocionados de que estén aquí hoy para aprender más sobre KIPP Un Mundo y estamos muy contentos de que hayan tomado la decisión de que su hijo o su hija se unan a nuestro equipo a KIPP Un Mundo.
Now we're going to go ahead and we have 4 out of our 5 kinder teachers who are joining us. And so we're going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. We also have our kinder instructional assistant who will also be working with your child. So she will also introduce herself as well.
Hi, I'm Andrea Garcia. I am one of the kinder teachers, and this is going to be my 7th year teaching. This is my 2nd year at KIPP Un Mundo, and I'm super excited to have any of your children.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Medina. I'm one of the kinder teachers. I'm going on my 8th year teaching and my 3rd year here at KIPP Un Mundo. I'm so excited to have your children in my classroom. I can't wait to work with them. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sarah Saburo. I've taught for 8 years, and this will be my 3rd year teaching kindergarten at KIPP Un Mundo.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Santiago. I've been with KIPP family for over 12 years, and this is my 7th year as a kindergarten teacher at KIPP Un Mundo, and I'm so excited to start working with you all.
Emily? Where's Emily? I thought I saw her. Is she there? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on.
Esas eran las maestras de kinder que se habían presentado.
So first things first is we will tell you a little about what our return dates are. Our teachers will be returning on Monday, this upcoming Monday, August 3rd. Students will be returning August 24th, 100% virtual. The plan is to return to the building beginning October 12th with some phased-in options, but in-person return will not be limited. So if you are wanting your child to return to the building for in-person instruction, that will be your option once we get closer to that time. The way we'll determine this is through surveys that you will receive. And that'll help us plan for the number of students who are planning on returning back to school and the number of students and families who are choosing to remain virtual.
Nuestras maestras regresarán el 3 de agosto. Los estudiantes comienzan el 24 de agosto, completamente virtual. Ahorita tenemos planificado regresar al edificio el 12 de octubre con la opción de regresar a la escuela sin límite de personas. Si usted escoge que su hija o su hijo regrese a la escuela al edificio, puede venir. Lo que vamos a hacer también es vamos a mandar una encuesta para determinar cuántos estudiantes nos van a ser parte de instrucción en la escuela, en el edificio, o los que también prefieren mejor tomar las clases virtualmente.
So one of the questions that has come up is, while we're in virtual learning, whether students will need to be or will be required to wear uniforms, and the answer to that is no. For virtual learning, they will not need to wear uniforms. That uniforms will be required once they return to the school building. And the KIPP uniform, the KIPP Un Mundo uniform, will look something similar to the picture that you see here. The teal shirt for kinder and black bottoms. So that is what your child will be wearing once we return to the school building. As far as school supplies for the school year, for distance learning, we'll be requiring very minimal supplies, and we will be sending you more information regarding this. Once your child's teacher has a list of their students, they will be contacting you and providing you with that information. It will also be available on our Facebook page as well.
Muchos padres han preguntado de uniformes, materiales que a lo mejor van a necesitar este año, su hijo o su hija. Los uniformes no van a ser requeridos para el aprendizaje virtual. Cuando los estudiantes sí regresen al edificio, en el salón, hay una foto ahí de cómo se van a vestir. Tienen una polo azulita con el logo de KIPP Un Mundo. Los niños y las niñas se pueden poner pantalones negros o falda o shorts. Claro, la playera verde a su lado. Y material que van a necesitar va a ser muy mínimo. Le vamos a dar más información cuando la maestra ya tenga la lista de los estudiantes que vayan a tener. Ellas van a tener contacto con ustedes para que les digan exactamente qué va a ser necesario para su estudiante.
As far as communication, your child's teacher will be using Class Dojo to maintain communication with you. That goes both ways. So you'll be able to use the Class Dojo app to reach out to your child's teacher, and they will be using the Class Dojo app to be reaching out to you as well. We also have our flyer app. And information on that can be found on our Facebook page, which we included the logo there, so that way you can get more information on anything that's happening upcoming with the school reopening, just to stay up to date with information.
Monique, there was a question about supplies.
And so I just wanted to address that. With supplies, we're asking for like basic things, and we're trying to compile a list of what you need, but know that your child will need at least one notebook, pencils, a great working space, some sort of technology, whether it be a checked out Chromebook from us or a laptop, or some sort of computer. And we'll talk about what other things they may need in a couple of slides.
Para materiales, había una pregunta de qué tipo de material vamos a necesitar. Cosas básicas que sí le podemos decir es que el estudiante sí va a necesitar una computadora, algo que a lo mejor nosotros le podemos prestar, o a lo mejor es algo que ellos pueden tener. Sí les pedimos que tengan un cuaderno para escribir, un lápiz y un espacio donde ellos puedan trabajar. Puede ser en la mesa del comedor, un escritorio pequeño también. Could you guys put the slideshow back on? Right now, I don't see it in a larger screen. La comunicación que estamos usando usamos dos aplicaciones. Una de las aplicaciones es la aplicación que se llama Class Dojo. Class Dojo es una aplicación donde usted tiene contacto con los maestros. Eso lo puede sacar de su teléfono. También otra aplicación que usamos se llama Flyer School. Es algo que puede bajar en su teléfono para que también tenga cualquier noticia de la escuela. Ahí le va a llegar como una notificación. También sí les pedimos, si usted tiene Facebook, que sea parte de la comunidad, el grupo que se llama KIPP Un Mundo Primary School Family Communication. Ahí también damos mucha información.
I want to go back real quick to the supply list. We are currently working out, compiling a list of essentials that your child will need. Our goal is to purchase some items and put together a distance learning kit for each of your children. And so we are working on that. So you will receive more information on that through your child's teacher once we have compiled those items. We will send out information on how we're going to do the pickup for that, as well as how we're going to do the pickup for the technology as well. So just know that that's coming, and hopefully that will ease a little bit of the financial burden that is associated with back to school costs. So just know that that is coming.
Lo que también estamos haciendo es, tenemos ahorita una lista que estamos haciendo para cada grado, de kinder a cuarto grado, para tener unas cuantas materias para que los estudiantes estén preparaditos cuando les llegue el primer día de escuela, el 24 de agosto. Cuando tengamos la bolsita llena de los materiales, le vamos a decir a las maestras también, ellas les pueden dar esa información, igual como la aplicación Class Dojo y Flyer App. También ahí le vamos a dar la información cuando sea tiempo para recoger el material.
For attendance, please know that, your child is entering kinder, and kinder is essential. In kinder, first and second students are learning to read, and then they transition into reading to learn. So attendance will be crucial. We know that virtual will be a little bit different. It'll be a different experience. Their first time in school will be virtual versus in person. But our teachers are working really hard to make the learning environment very interactive through the virtual learning. Know that attendance will be taken daily, just like if they were sitting in the classroom. The state is not going to be as flexible as they were in the spring with regards to attendance. And in order to receive credit for being present in school, your child will be required to complete certain assignments. And we'll make sure that we are communicating exactly what specific guidelines are going to be in place for you to follow in order for your child to receive credit for being in school.
Miss Lopez, you're on mute.
Sorry. En cuanto a asistencia escolar, es extremadamente importante ya que los niños van a estar entrando a kinder, que es donde ellos aprenden a leer, y es muy importante que ellos estén presentes todos los días. Se va a pasar lista como si ellos estuvieran en el salón de clase. No va a ser tan flexible como el semestre pasado, donde los estudiantes tienen que estar presentes y todavía no tenemos información específica, pero esa está por venir. La asistencia se tomará por cada maestra que tenga el alumno y se tomará basado en las tareas que están completadas por el alumno. Las maestras están trabajando muy duro en crear lecciones que sean muy interactivas para que los estudiantes estén presentes y quieran estar conectados. Y tendremos más información específica para el 24 de agosto, que es el primer día de clases.
So we are currently working on finalizing what our daily schedule will look like for virtual learning. Students will have a very structured schedule of subjects and times that they are expected to be online for live instruction. However, we know that sometimes, we know that our kinders require a lot of assistance. So if your child is unable to be on during the live instruction, our teachers will be recording the lessons, which will allow you to be able to access those when you maybe get home from work or when there's somebody available to help them. We just ask that you maintain communication with your child's teacher, with us as administration, so that way we know how best to meet your child's needs and how we can support them, and so that way they are successful.
En cuanto al horario de aprendizaje virtual, los estudiantes van a tener un horario estructurado de materias y tiempos que requieren estar en clases virtuales, en los cuales ellos tienen que estar conectados vía una videollamada para asistir a clase. Ahora sabemos que a veces hay situaciones en donde su hijo o su hija no puede atender a clases en vivo, entonces la maestra va a grabar un video de la clase para que su hijo o su hija pueda verlo y lo publicará en Google Classroom. Lo que queremos poner un énfasis es que queremos que ustedes se sientan a gusto para comunicarse con la maestra para cualquier tipo de duda o cualquier situación especial que pueda tener. Por favor, manténganse en comunicación con la maestra, es muy importante.
So the digital learning platforms that will be used, that your child will use, as well as your child's teacher, we use Google Classroom. We'll be using Imagine Math, which is an acceleration. So students will use that in order to, it assesses where they are with certain skills, and it provides them supplementary activities to help support their learning. The same thing with Lexia, which is used for reading. Teachers will use either Google Meet or Zoom to host live lessons, as well as Nearpod for presentations that they will be putting together for your child.
En cuanto a las plataformas digitales de aprendizaje, las maestras estarán usando Google Classroom para subir todas las tareas que los estudiantes requieren. También se va a usar Imagine Math es un programa de matemáticas, y Lexia, que es un programa de lectura. También se va a usar ya sea Google Meets o Zoom para videollamadas con los maestros. Y Nearpod, que es un programa donde los estudiantes pueden ver la presentación que está, o la lección que está presentando la maestra, y es un programa muy interactivo.
So there is a beginning of year assessment that will be administered for all of our kinder students, all of our K through 4 students, actually. Basically, so the name of the assessment is called MAP, which stands for Measures of Academic Progress. And the whole purpose of this is to get an idea of where your children are with regards to grade level skills, and it helps the teachers guide their instruction and know where they need to provide more support for your children and where your children are really strong. So we are currently working on guidelines as to what this would look like in the virtual setting, and as soon as we get those details, again, information will go out through your children's teachers, as well as through our Facebook and our flyer app. So just know that each time that something new is coming, we will make sure that we are communicating that to you with enough time so you can plan and prepare for upcoming events, as well as assessments that your child have.
En cuanto a las evaluaciones del principio de año, los estudiantes estarán tomando un examen llamado MAP, que es un examen que mide el crecimiento del estudiante en habilidades esenciales como lectura y matemáticas. Esta prueba es una prueba adaptiva de computadora. Está basada en la respuesta de los estudiantes y se ajusta al nivel de aprendizaje de cada estudiante. Esto es importante porque esto ayuda a las maestras a guiar sus lecciones para que sus lecciones estén en cuanto a las habilidades de los estudiantes. Esto va a ser administrado virtualmente. Todavía no tenemos muchos detalles específicos para cómo se va a administrar virtualmente, pero los maestros se van a comunicar con ustedes para darles más información.
So another big question that has come up is regarding technology distribution. All KIPP students and families will receive a communication as far as where and when to pick up the Chromebooks that will be issued. If your student has, like if you already have older students who are attending KIPP and they have a device, they can continue to use that device. And IT is currently working on gathering all of the data as far as who will need a device and who is okay. They're also gathering information on which families may need hotspots in order for them to have internet service. So that way we can provide the necessary technology to the families who need it.
En cuanto a la tecnología, estudiantes que son nuevos a KIPP van a recibir comunicación para cómo obtener una computadora antes del inicio del ciclo escolar. Las personas encargadas de la tecnología en un mundo están preparando todo para poder distribuir esos Chromebooks a los estudiantes que no tengan. Si su estudiante ya tiene computadora, no hay acción adicional para tomar.
So at this time, I think that we answered almost all of the questions. There is one question, Mel, it's in Spanish or Day. I want to say that it's asking if they're going to have like a meet the teacher kind of conference. And as of right now, we don't have a date for that. But once our teachers receive their class rosters, we will be scheduling a virtual meet the teacher so you can get to know your child's teacher and specifics with regards to like what their expectations are, just so that way you're familiar, and that'll allow you an opportunity to maybe request a one-on-one if you have like specific family circumstances that would interfere with your child being able to be present during live instruction. And that's just so that way, again, you know, we don't want to call anybody out, but we want to make sure that we know specifics, so that way we know exactly how we can support you and how we can support your child.
Hay una pregunta donde están preguntando si los maestros tendrán alguna conferencia especial para que los niños los conozcan. Todavía no tenemos fechas para eso. En cuanto a los maestros reciban la lista de alumnos que van a estar teniendo, ellos van a estar creando un espacio virtual para que donde las familias se puedan comunicar con ellos. Si usted tiene una situación especial donde su hijo o su hija no puede asistir a las clases virtuales, entonces puede conectarse con el maestro y pedir una sesión donde sea nada más la familia con el maestro y hablar sobre esa situación para que el maestro pueda ayudarlos.
Are there any other questions that you might have that we didn't answer through the presentation?
¿Hay alguna otra pregunta que no contestamos durante la presentación?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know I kind of joined in a little late. I'm not sure if you covered this, but is there going to be designated like times I know y'all kind of briefly talked about assignments, and that's not the problem. The problem is going to be for me is getting my child on like during the designated time of like when they're on the Zoom, I guess you could say, right? The lessons that are learned.
Yes, ma'am. So what's going to happen is the teacher, again, there will be designated times for live instruction. If for whatever reason your child cannot attend the live instruction, teachers will record all lessons and post them in Google Classroom, and then you'll have access to that at a later time. So say you're working until 4 o'clock. You know, when you get home, you can, you know, get online and go into the Google Classroom, and you'll be able to see links for that day's lesson that you'll be able to not only access the instruction, but as well as any exit tickets.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Let me add to that real quick, Monique. The other thing is we're going to really work, parents. I apologize, I had to transition. We're going to work hard on trying to reach out to families, more about like just checking in. Are there any concerns, things like that, as an admin team, as teachers, so that way when we get your feedback, if there are, because I know certain people have more specific issues or certain issues, and we'll try our very best to work one-on-one with those families that are needing, you know, the help around the scheduling and things like that. The other part I wanted to add, guys, or parents, is the first week or so of instruction, we're not going to jump right into instruction. That's going to be a time for us to build culture and to teach your students how to work virtually. And I think that's going to be an important time for the kids, because just like, you know, this is their first time ever in school, it's also potentially their first time, well, yeah, ever being virtual, right? So we're going to go over, the teacher's going to cover, you know, different techniques, different things that you know, logging on to Zoom, logging off, things like that, that are really going to help our kids. And our kids are pretty, technologically savvy. I see it all the time. I have 2 grandkids, and my 4 and 3-year-old, they know how to swipe and do all these things that I'm like, wow, that's great. So, I know that our kids are going to get this. So I just wanted to share that to kind of ease your mind, because I know this is a lot and it is a different time for all of us.
Una de las preguntas que habían hecho era de si yo tengo una situación donde mi estudiante no puede estar en vivo con la maestra, como le habíamos dicho, no hay ni un problema. Por eso tenemos esas conversaciones con los maestros, y la maestra, como quiera, va a grabar su lección. Y también puede tener conversaciones con nosotros, los administradores, para darles apoyo adicional a su familia, lo que ustedes necesitan para sacarlos adelante. Y la otra cosa es que la primera semana de la escuela, nosotros entendemos que los niños no van a estar aprendiendo inmediatamente, no van a aprender a hacer ciertas cosas. Queremos una rutina, establecer una rutina para nuestros niños de kinder. Es la primera vez que están en la escuela, especialmente van a estar con una computadora. Y lo que van a trabajar nuestras maestras excelentes de kinder, ellas tienen mucho cariño, mucha paciencia, y ellos les van a enseñar rutinas necesarias para que ellos tengan éxito, y algo también para ustedes, para que ustedes también sepan cómo preparar a su hija o a su hijo.
So another question from the chat box is whether the students will have the same homeroom teacher when they return to the school building in October, and the answer to that is yes. So your child's teacher virtually is going to be the same teacher that they will see when they are in the classroom. So that will not change. Go ahead.
Monique, I just want to add, but we may run into an issue, and I just want to prepare you for this. When we go back, parents are going to have the option, right, to go virtual or to be in school. Well, if our students are off balance, like let's say that, only 5, are Miss Medellin's class, but, Miss Saburo has 15, we may have to make adjustments just to level until all of our students are 100%. And we don't want a lot of changes like that, but we also want your students to be able to be as equitable as we can. We know that that's not always the case, and we know that that includes changes, but unfortunately that's our only option, because it wouldn't, it would be very different to have 5 in one and 20 in the other. So we would, have to balance until and then when we come back, we'll have to decide. And then when all kids are back, we'll have to decide, do we just leave the students where they're at and then transition the other kids into other classrooms? We will make those decisions at that time. But I just wanted to put that out there, because that may be a situation that we run into. We don't know, because we haven't ever experienced this just yet.
And the teachers will be working together with instruction. So your child may see on one of the recorded lessons, like say, for example, for science or social studies, one of the other teachers. So they will be familiar with all of the teachers, as well as Ms. Ramirez, our kinder instructional aide. She's such a great support.
Una de las preguntas que habían preguntado los padres es si yo tengo a Ms. García como mi maestra virtualmente, y cuando regresemos al edificio me van a cambiar de maestra. Eso va a depender. También tenemos que tomar en cuenta cuántos estudiantes puede tener Ms. García. A lo mejor Ms. García tiene 15, pero Ms. Medellín solamente tiene 5 alumnos en su clase. So va a haber la posibilidad que sí va a haber movimiento para que no tenga tantos estudiantes Ms. García, y Ms. Medellín también tenga, aunque sea algo parecido. Cuando todos los estudiantes regresen a la escuela, es algo que también tenemos que ver, que las clases también tengan la misma cantidad de estudiantes, que una maestra no tenga más que la otra. Y claro, si va a haber un tipo de movimiento, inmediatamente hablamos con los padres, no vamos a mover al alumno antes sin hablar con ustedes. La otra cosa fue que puede ver donde a lo mejor Ms. García está enseñando una lección de matemáticas, pero la maestra del estudiante a lo mejor es Ms. Medellín, a lo mejor comparten el video de Ms. García, la lección, para el estudiante. Nomás depende para que también los estudiantes vean todas las maestras, pero sí le queremos asegurar que ahorita vamos a hacer virtualmente. Queremos que su hijo se quede con la misma maestra, pero puede ver la posibilidad de movimiento.
Another question from the chat is will the student be virtual live with the teacher? At some points of the day, they will, and at some points of the day, they will be working independently. And that'll be very structured and laid out for you all. So that way you know exactly what time they need to be logged on, what time they get breaks, what time they need to do independent work.
Monique, they also ask if they have a sibling over at Camino or UPrep, is their schedule going to be similar, like when they're on?
Okay. That answer, their schedules are going to vary. We're elementary, the middle school and the high school, they have different requirements with regards to number of minutes for each content. So that's going to vary as far as what time they need to be on. If you're asking maybe because you only have like one device, if that's the case, and there's going to be like an overlap with a middle schooler and an elementary student being logged on at the same time, then make sure that you communicate that with us so that way we know that we need to provide an additional device for your other child or children. So they each have their own device that they can work on, and that there's no conflict with being on the device if they need to be on at the same time.
So, una de las preguntas es si la maestra va a estar enseñando en vivo. Va a ser una combinación donde la maestra sí va a estar enseñando en vivo y ya va a haber sesiones donde hay videos y sesiones donde el estudiante trabaja independientemente. Una de las preguntas que habían preguntado era, pues yo tengo a lo mejor un alumno en Camino y tengo un estudiante en Un Mundo. Los horarios van a ser un poco diferentes porque nosotros como primaria tenemos una cierta cantidad de minutos que tenemos que obtener por materia, matemáticas, escritura, fonética. Es muy diferente lo que requiere la secundaria y la prepa. No, nomás para que sepa más o menos. La otra cosa que sí le recomendamos, si usted dice, no, pues tengo solamente una computadora, como todos mis niños van a estar en la computadora, usted no se preocupe, nosotros le vamos a ayudar y le vamos a prestar una computadora para que tenga éxito su hijo en Un Mundo.
Belinda Rodriguez, if you can please respond to Sophia Medina in the chat, so that way she can answer your question specifically. If any of you have questions with regards to your kinder student or any of your children being registered, and you just want to, confirm that they are registered and ready to go and start the school year, please make sure that you reach out to Sophia Medina. She will be able to assist you with that to make sure that everything is in order to be able to start the school year.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you said that some like part of the day they'll be logging in and they'll have like a virtual going on for the students, and then the part of the day they have it where they just log in and they do the assignments.
And they do the, what was that last part?
The assignments.
Oh, yes.
So how would it work if because I work and my son stays with my mom and she's not well with the laptops or anything like that.
Um, we will work. We're gonna try to address each family's circumstances. So once you know your child's teacher, if you can just please communicate that. As stated, all lessons will be recorded. So when you're available to work with your child, so they can access that at home with you, then you'll have access to that through Google Classroom. But you'll work that out specifically with your child's teacher. Again, we want to make sure that we're meeting all of our students' needs. And we know that technology, and we know that a lot of our kids spend time with grandparents who may not be good with technology, right?
Yes.
Or maybe spend time with an older sibling that maybe doesn't have the patience to help them. So we will take it on a case-by-case basis. We know exactly how to support you and your child. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Another, go ahead.
Una de las preguntas era de padres que estaban preocupados que tu hijo a lo mejor se está quedando con un pariente que a lo mejor no tiene capacidad con la tecnología, a lo mejor no le entiende a lo que le están enseñando a los niños. No hay ni un problema. Le exigimos que tenga mucha comunicación con la maestra. Aquí estamos para apoyarlos. Como les habíamos dicho, las lecciones las vamos a grabar. Los niños van a tener acceso a la grabación de la lección y las maestras están para apoyar y ayudarles si están en esa situación.
Another question in the chat that we have not gotten to yet is what happens when my child is under the 504 plan? If your child is identified as a student under 504 or special education or as an EL, we do have teachers that provide support for your individual child. So just know that we will be addressing their needs once we have all of the information from you regarding their 504 plan or IEP or any special circumstances.
Había preguntas sobre apoyo académico si su estudiante tiene un 504 o es parte de el programa de educación especial. Cuando tengamos todo los papeles de los papás o que nos lo pueden mandar, es cuando tenemos más información para apoyar el estudiante. Tenemos maestras que les dan apoyo adicional a nuestros estudiantes que necesitan esa ayuda adicional. Igualmente, como entran muchos estudiantes no hablando mucho inglés, tampoco tenemos una maestra de inglés como segundo idioma que les da apoyo en el inglés para que tengan éxito en sus materias.
Monique, the other, Ms. Lara, the other question is about, I did answer the question about the schedule. We will have specific minutes. We are finalizing our master schedule now. And as we finalize the schedule will go closer to the first day of school. We'll have another meeting, and then we'll share the schedule with specific minutes. We do understand that there are families that you have a caregiver that can't log on or doesn't know how to log on, and the lessons are going to be recorded, and we are going to work more specifically with some of the families with different issues, because everybody may have a different circumstances. They're all similar, but there may be something a little different with each of those circumstances. And the teachers, as well as the admin team, will be working and reaching out to those families, because we want your students to we know that this is not right what we would have preferred. None of us, I shared this in our other meeting, none of us saw this coming. And I to be honest, I really thought we were going to start the school year fine. I was ready to go back, and then the numbers started increasing. And then, I knew parents were going to be worried about having their kids return to school. So we are working on all of these pieces, and one of those things is going to be figuring out how we can still support you with different circumstances.
No nos imaginábamos que íbamos a comenzar el año escolar virtualmente. Como han cambiado mucho las cosas y estamos en esta situación, sí entendemos, padres, que muchos tienen diferentes situaciones donde no van a estar necesariamente presentes para darle ese apoyo académico a su hijo o a su hija. Y tienen a lo mejor otras personas ayudando que a lo mejor no hablan el idioma tampoco, no hablan el inglés. Como les había dicho, aquí estamos para apoyarlos. Sí, les sugerimos que tenga conversaciones con sus maestras que sus hijos van a tener. Como les había dicho, son maestras excelentes con un gran corazón. Tienen mucha paciencia. Ellas van a estar en comunicación con ustedes y ellas también son muy buenas de comunicarse con los administradores y nos dicen que a lo mejor esta familia tiene esta situación, cómo los podemos ayudar. Eso sí les aseguramos, aquí vamos a estar para apoyarlos y sacar a sus hijos adelante.
Teachers, is there anything else that y'all want to share with the parents? We have about 12 minutes left, so I just want to give y'all an opportunity if there's anything that y'all would like to share.
Well, I just want to say that I know parents are a little nervous and scared of what to expect, and so are we. But just so you know that we're here for you, and any questions, any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here for you.
And I just want parents to know that your students are going to have the best teachers. They work so hard. They work really well together to make sure that as a grade level that our children are well prepared. So just know that your children will have amazing teachers.
Yes, I was going to say that with our kinder team, our teachers are strong. And if you've been with Un Mundo before, some of you are familiar with some of our teachers. Our teachers, it's exciting for me as a principal to work with the group of teachers and the staff that I work with, because they do work hard. They are excited about what they do for every student. We're not perfect, but they definitely work hard, and they're definitely caring teachers. Our kinder team in particular is very competitive, and they always do things like to the 10th level, and I'm excited about that, because with kinder kids, it's new, right? And I think you have to be that way in order to get them started off on the right foot and to get them excited about school. And so that is one thing I'm excited about. Even though we're going to be virtual, the fact that a part of this will be live, they're going to be able to connect with their teachers and get a feel for their personality, get a feel for what it's going to be like when they're in the classroom with them. And I'm just excited about that, because you are going to be so pleased with how our kinder teachers work and how much they care for your kids. So I'm definitely excited about that. And I can't wait for them to get back into the building so that they're able to feel that and get a part and to learn our culture and be a part of our school, because it's going to be very exciting. And like I said, it's not perfect, but we're definitely here for you, and we're definitely ready and willing to always improve with feedback. And we're always ready to just be better.
Las maestras de kinder, como les había dicho, trabajan muy, muy duro. Ellas son súper cumplidas. Cada vez si les damos algo que tienen que terminar, ellas siempre son las primeras que terminan y lo hacen excelente, lo hacen perfecto. Sí se les espera unas maestras excelentes, de lo mejor, y ellas están listas para conocer a sus nuevos sus estudiantes de este año, aunque sea virtual, pero va a ver la personalidad, el corazón grande que ellas tienen y el amor que les van a estar dando a sus estudiantes y todo lo que van a enseñar. Lorraine, we have a question in the chat. They're asking if a parent still has the option of going 100% in person. One of the reasons being is that it was really difficult for their child last year to really get that schoolwork done online because of a disability.
Yeah, I was reading that. When we go back in October, there's still going to be an option. We're going to phase in. I mean, I would hope, I'm really hopeful that everything will be clear so that we have the majority of our kids back on campus. However, there is still going to be an option that when we go back, there are parents that can still stay virtual if they choose to do that. But eventually we were going to phase into 100% back into the building.
Al momento no vamos a estar 100% en el edificio, al momento es todo virtual. Cuando lleguemos a octubre 12 es cuando sí le vamos a dar la opción a padres que puedan regresar al edificio. Pero al fin el gol, lo que queremos es, la meta es que todos los niños regresen a la escuela, pero también queremos asegurar que todos estén seguros en el edificio.
And then I misunderstood that last part. So yes, your child can come back 100% to school in October. So you are going to have that option. And I think you're on the right track. I think that is a good choice for them. This isn't ideal for everyone. I have my son at home. He's in high school, and my older girls never experienced this. And my son is like, Mom, this is hard. I feel like I'm trying to learn, but I'm not learning. I'm getting the work done. And so I did understand his struggles, and I understood what he was going through. So we definitely understand, and I do hope that a lot of our students come back. So thank you for that question, Mrs. Stella. Teachers will get tested if they have symptoms. Like if we run into anyone with symptoms, we are going to have all that protocol for all of that. So we are going to be taking temperatures of our staff and our kids several times a day, not just when they arrive. So anybody with a fever, like for teachers, they will get sent home immediately. For kids, we will have to, hold them in a safe space until parents can get them, and we're going to have them unfortunately in an isolated area where they are going to be supervised, but away from contact between other kids and other people. But yeah, so they're going to be, if there are symptoms, they will be tested. The kids no one will need to get tested to come to school. Like you're not going to have a test that clears you first. The only way anyone will need to get tested is if they have the symptoms, and we would need to know before they return. And then there's a certain amount of time frame that they'll have, because believe they'll have to test negative twice before they're able to return if they were to contract the virus.
Una de las preguntas es que si vamos a darles examen del virus, si pensamos que las maestras a lo mejor tienen el virus, también estudiantes, lo que vamos a hacer durante el día, las maestras y los estudiantes les vamos a tomar la temperatura varios tiempos durante el día. Si una maestra sí tiene calentura, sí vamos a pedir que se vayan a casa. Si el estudiante tiene la calentura, los vamos a poner en un cuarto seguro donde los están cuidando, y vamos a esperar que vengan a recoger a su alumno. La otra cosa que estamos viendo es hay una cierta cantidad de días donde los estudiantes tienen que estar fuera de la escuela si tienen el virus, igual como las maestras.
With that being said, something that's really important is if you change your phone number or you have emergency contacts who change their phone numbers, please, please, please make sure that you update that with the office as well as your child's teacher. The reason is that way, if there is an emergency that comes up, or if they get sick, or if they develop a fever during the day, we can have access to correct phone numbers to reach you immediately. That's going to be very crucial to the health and safety of your child.
Sí le estamos pidiendo cuando regresamos a la escuela que los números que tengan de contacto en la oficina, sí les pedimos que sí estén trabajando los números en el evento que haga una emergencia o su hijo o su hija no se sienta bien, le podemos llamar y pueda venir por su hija o su hijo.
Are there any other questions before we wrap this virtual orientation up?
No, I just want to thank everybody and for the clarification, and I'm excited to start the new year with my kindergartner.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're excited too.
Yeah. It makes me smile because I appreciate that, Ms. Hernandez, because you know, some of this is just so, I mean, it's hard, right? It's so negative, but I am excited that some of you are still so excited to be able to send your kids to school and to trust us with that opportunity. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Muchísimas gracias por tomar el tiempo de estar con nosotros y también estamos demasiado agradecidos que tienen la confianza de mandar a sus estudiantes con nosotros cuando abran nuestro edificio de nuevo otra vez. Estamos muy felices que vamos a tener un nuevo grupo de estudiantes de kinder, pero cualquier otra pregunta, aquí estamos para cualquier duda, aquí estamos para ayudarlos. Pero si ya no hay alguna otra pregunta, muchísimas gracias.
All right, that's all we have, parents. So thank you.
Thank you so much.